Happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day to you, sir.
You're one of the few people I know with more kids than me, which is
Oh,
pretty
wow.
remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids. I'm not gonna lie. It's I wouldn't dare say too many, but it's a lot. Did y'all do anything? What's how do you celebrate?
What did we do? My father came over on Saturday, did a little barbecue situation, and we didn't really do much. I don't know what we did on Father's Day. Jamie made a nice spicy noodle lunch dinner thing.
Love a spicy noodle. Love a spicy
Yeah,
noodle.
love a spicy noodle. A little bit of running around. Yeah, went to a pool. So just kind of chilled.
That
Kids
sounds
made me
about right.
cards. It's nice. It's nice.
I like that.
Are your oldest ones ready? Are they like? Do they get Father's Day yet, or they
No,
don't
no,
totally
of
get it?
course not.
Okay.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Oh man.
They said Happy Father's Day, which is
Yeah.
nice, and they made me a card, which is nice, but no, they have no clue.
I saw they got you a beautiful board book, which was really cool.
Man,
I didn't
wasn't
know this
that
existed.
cool?
That was so cool. I was like,
It's
this has
so
infinite
cool.
uses. It's so good.
Yeah.
Who knew
Yeah,
you
so
can make board books?
my wife got, those for the listener, those books that are for kids that are pretty like thick pages. They're cardboard. They're about, maybe 6 by 6 square. My wife got one of those made about me. It's like, this is my daddy. It was all pictures of me doing stuff and playing with the
Crazy.
kids. And she even got all the wording right. It has that same like
Yes.
cadence and complexity for a kid. Like, he is so strong. One page says he is so tall. And it's just like, that's exactly what a kid would say. Like, why do
Oh
you love your
man.
daddy? Because he's tall. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah, that
something a
makes
kid would
sense.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the board book era. That's probably my favorite kid book era. It's just like you just
Mm-hmm.
read the little board books and I just want to hear it 70 times. And
Yep.
like
Over and
those
over
are
and
the ones that
over.
are stuck in my head. Like I could recite 4 or 5
Yep.
of those. I could just cold recite the whole things right now
Yep.
because
I
they're
think right
just,
now I've got Amelia Bedelia
oh, that's
memorized.
good.
There's like
There you
5
go.
Amelia Bedelia books that they have that I have them all memorized.
Yep. Yep. Then
Yep.
there's the Crayon Kid. I don't know. There's a bunch of them. We liked Hand, Fingers, Thumb. I think it was what the title of the book was, but that's
Never heard of
whole
that one.
little thing. Yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, that was a cool gift idea.
Very cool gift
I never
idea.
got I never got one of those. I was a little jealous. I was like, that
Yeah. I don't
tugs the
like
heartstrings.
I know I want to give it to the kids, but I don't want them to destroy it. But I also kind of want them to like destroy it and then look back on it years later and be like, "Oh, they loved this book so much," So it's kind of like, we'll see. But yeah, very cool. We didn't do the one. One funny thing my wife did was, I think it was like Friday or Saturday. Very thoughtful. She was like, "What do you want Father's Day to look like?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like, what are the options? I don't feel like we have much like help that day, so I can't just disappear
Right.
because Jasmine's off on the weekends, and it was just gonna be us two with the 4 kids. She was like, "Well, what if you could just disappear? What would you do?" And I was like, "Well, oh man, honestly, I'd probably go to the movies by myself." And she was like, "Yeah, well, that's probably not gonna work. So it's a good conversation."
Well, I asked you that.
I
That's
was
so
like,
funny.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I didn't know where this was going, but that's kind of what I thought. We both laughed, and she was like, I guess that's good to know. I
That's
don't know what we
good.
do with that
Just
information,
noted.
but that's good to know.
5 years from now,
Yeah.
maybe we could do that.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my
but
gosh.
I did get I got the afternoon just to like rest, which was nice.
Okay,
So
that's nice.
from about 4 to 5:30, I was just like in the back watching YouTube, and it was
Got an
great.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah, got a
It's
free
kind of
hour.
tricky too because you're going to the office and you're working there, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're not like you're just sitting by the pool, hanging out, reading printed out pages of
I
manuals or
wish.
anything. But still,
Yeah,
you kind of get a mental break from the kids, so then
I
it's
do.
hard on the other times to totally abandon ship.
Yeah.
I It's nice when the kids get to the age of like doing these days on their own, which is kind of where we're at now. Like maybe with just a little reminder, but it's like they make the card, They do the
Yeah.
stuff. Like, it's not like where you're pretending to be the kid and doing the stuff. So
Yeah.
that'll be a nice phase for you to get to in a little bit.
Yeah, for Mother's Day, I was like, I had to sneak out at some point to go to Tom Thumb to buy flowers and a card, and then I had to like keep the flowers in the car until Jennifer was occupied, and then I brought them inside and hid them somewhere, and I put the cards like, I stuffed them down the back of my shorts and put my shirt over it so I could just like walk into the kids' room and then have the kids color on them. So I'm like doing spy craft over here. Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice when they're a little bit older and they can kind of do that themselves.
Yeah, at least participate in it.
Yeah. So good weekend. I'll tell you though. I'll tell you. I'm feeling tired, man.
Me too.
I'm feeling old. I don't know what it is. What is it?
I'm so tired. I'm so
tired. What are you feeling?
I don't know, man. It's like I'm
man,
on
I feel that exact same thing. God. Okay,
what the hell's
keep going.
On? Maybe it's everything. Maybe it's not just
Maybe
me.
It's everything.
I don't know.
Maybe it's everything.
I don't know. I have the seasonal allergies, so I feel like that's wearing on me. I've done this like move to like early morning lifestyle, which I feel like
guy
transition, and the transition to waking up early has been great. Like I get up and it's fine. I posted a picture from my walk this morning on Twitter at like 6:05 or something.
Total morning guy stuff.
Yeah,
like, I'm out having a walk.
Yeah.
You're not even up yet, you idiot. Yeah,
exactly. Me and the birds are out here.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other random dudes who are early risers.
Also
and
posting,
that's it. Yeah. We're all posting on social media that we're out here better than you all who are in bed from being up to 2 a.m. But I still wake up kind of at like 4, so that's throwing me off. The late night me is creeping in a little bit. Like the other night I went to bed at like 11:30. Yeah. Last night was just like 11:05, but still I think it's a little too late if I'm gonna be like up and at it at a little after 5. So I don't know.
Night guy's screwing morning guy.
I know.
And morning guy's only revenge. Morning guy has no revenge. I was gonna say you could lose your job, like they say in Seinfeld, but you own the job. You can't even lose your job.
And then morning guy like goes on these walks and figures he's gonna tire night guy out, but I don't know.
But night guy comes in with a vengeance at night. He's like, I'm here, baby.
It's like I may get tired at like in the afternoon or something, but then like night, it's like, yeah, let's go. We got stuff.
Nobody ever cares about afternoon guy.
No,
afternoon guy. What a loser guy.
Terrible guy. Yeah, definitely
Terrible
the worst version of yourself.
So demotivated. Hate afternoon guy.
I don't know. What do you think is your issue?
I don't know, man. I just feel part of it's physical, part of it's existential.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit of existential tiredness. I think some of the debates on Twitter this weekend, I was like,
I saw you commenting. What are we doing? Know what you were talking about? That I was so happy. I was like,
I'm so happy for
enough
you.
That I had no idea what's going on, and I was like, who knows? But I missed it. I didn't chime in.
Yeah, so there's just this debate on Twitter about should you learn Git in college, or is it like a failing of universities that they don't teach you Git in school? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Why does anybody care? Yeah. And so I just felt a little like exhausted by that. And then, it's just like, what are we doing here? I feel like we do this every month, maybe. Yeah, every week probably. So part of it was that, and I just felt like, I think I need to just mute more people. I think I need.
Telling you, man.
I know.
I told you the last couple of weeks I've been on the lake.
I know. I just feel part of me feels like I need to keep some of the people unmuted so that I know what's going on. But that's just that's a lie. I don't need to know what's going on. I need to focus on my own things. I don't care. I don't care what some other Twitter person is saying about Git. Like it doesn't make my life any better, and it doesn't make my work any better.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. It's all
bad.
I just feel like I need to know for some reason, but I don't need to know.
Addiction. I know,
it's
but
the addiction. I don't need to know.
The one thing I have talked about recently on there and is my disgust with the For You tab.
I love the For You tab.
I love the idea of the For You tab, okay? But because the ideal use case, here's the real trick with social media, right? Is like the ideal use case is you just publish
Yeah.
right? Because that has benefits to you in different ways, potentially. You publish,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but your consumption is minimal and focused on specific types of things and upsides.
Okay.
Like, I love when I find out about a new useful package, or I love when
Mm-hmm.
Taylor tells us something awesome about that's coming in Laravel. Like, I don't want to miss those things.
Right.
And I like having access to those things and having them right away when they come out. Great. But obviously, just scrolling through there and seeing all the shit is horrible, right? It's just like
Horrible.
making you sad.
Making me
Everybody's
sad.
better than you. Everybody's farther along than you. Like, it's all that stuff. It's all the stuff, problems people have with social media. But it's like, that's where the For You tab, obviously their motivation is not to give you that in the For You tab, right? They're not trying to be like, boy, let's pick out the 10 things Ian
Right.
really shouldn't miss and give him those so that he's satisfied with that. Instead, you just get a bunch of crazy shit and stuff that's going to make you mad, or just bizarre stuff. And that's very frustrating. And it's like, why
It's
can't
very
we
frustrating.
get that?
It's very
Because
frustrating.
I want to publish and share things and whatever, and that's all good.
Got
but
to.
You got,
Yeah, I think
I
you're
don't
right.
have to, but I sort of
You
like it,
don't
and you
have
have
to.
to. You
I
have
have to.
and
It's my
I
life.
like to, but it's just like the balance. But none of them are motivated by that. And it's like Elon's like, okay, well, we'll charge you for Twitter now. Great, I pay for Twitter. I still don't get a For You that's just the shit I want. It's a bunch of BS that's like designed to like make me click things or be mad or whatever it is. And it's like,
I know. My end game is to log off, for sure.
yeah,
that is my end game.
I brought you around. You're all the way here.
That is my end game. I'm going to log off. The problem is I just can't do it yet.
Well, it's like, I do think there is this thing. We're just not capable of this because we're too freaking gone and addicted. But like,
Too plugged in.
But it's like, all we care about is the publishing. There are people out there who just publish, right? Like, they
Cal
just
Newport
publish.
just publishes.
He's not there reading every reply or getting in the streets on whatever
the muck with all the other pigs. No.
JavaScript stuff is going on. Right? No, these guys.
He's in a cozy tower with his library, researching and changing the world, and he just has some RSS feed that publishes. Meanwhile, I'm down here in the muck and the mire, just fighting with the other dorks. What am I doing?
Distracted from the thing you should be doing. How many, like, even if it's minimal, like, there's 5 videos didn't get done last week because of whatever time, the distraction /
easily
getting back into the zone after you've been distracted and all that stuff. Yeah, it's all bad, man. It's all bad.
And bad, but it's so good. Like, it's I owe Twitter so much, you know?
Yeah, I don't owe Twitter anything, to be honest with you, but still, it feels like I owe it something. Yeah, you do owe it something, I guess.
I do.
That's
I
true.
owe it a lot. So I think the current strategy. Don't I?
I don't know, man. You owe YouTube something for sure.
I owe YouTube something for sure. So
you probably do owe Twitter something, but
I owe Twitter a lot. Let's go all the way back to my first Laracon Online, where Ian Landsman is picking out speakers, right?
It's true.
Ian Landsman picks Aaron as a speaker because I had already demonstrated some amount of being good on camera, which came from I started like sharing what I was working on Sidecar on Twitter, and then Frake saw it on Twitter and invited me to come on Laravel Worldwide, and then I'm on Laracon Online, and then I'm off to the races, baby.
There you go. It's true.
I just don't know. I don't know the other way.
Yeah.
Like, what's the alternative? Blog?
But is what's true in the past deterministic of the future, right? Like, when you were nobody and nobody knew you, right? Okay, like, you got to be in there
success does not indicate future performance.
It's possible, right? Like, is Twitter going to guarantee you that you get to that next level? I don't know if that's true. Now,
it's not going to guarantee anything. No. Does it increase the odds?
Does it help? For you, it
so.
probably does, because you're so selling to the everybody. This is where I do feel like people are starting to realize that Twitter's dying, right? But it's like, our section hasn't died yet, right? Yeah. But the devs are still on there and whatever. But even our world's being infected. It's like there's less of the Laravel people in some ways, I feel like, less of the happiness. Maybe it's just the algo. I don't know. There's more of the like negativity creeping into our happy corner of Twitter. But
it's because we're trying to make these bridges to other communities. We need to build walls, not bridges. What are we doing? Come on, man.
Or maybe there's other ways to build bridges. But anyway, so I don't know. It's just like, you're selling to such a specific group, and that group is still heavily invested
They're all
in Twitter.
on Twitter.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that is something. But again, even there, it's like the algo of YouTube does way more for you than the algo of Twitter does, I would think. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe
This
I'm
what
not
you-
as skilled or as practiced at YouTube, but I can get a video on YouTube. So like my bar of like, wow, that was really good, is if I get more views than I have subscribers or followers. That's always my bar. I want to do over 100%.
Right. That makes sense.
I can do that with relative frequency, not like foolproof, but relative frequency on Twitter. I can't do that as reliably on YouTube. And I think maybe it's a skill issue, or I haven't found the right formula or something. But yeah, I feel like Twitter, it's easier to get my stuff out there, but of course the value is lower. I mean, people read a tweet, like what does that even
Right.
mean? They watch a video. I have a pretty good sense that they've watched some part of the video. So I don't know. But I do agree, for the first time ever. Y'all write it in your journals. Not agree for the first time with you. Agree for the first time ever that I think Twitter is on the decline. I really do. I think I will hold on until the bitter end.
Sure.
I will go down with the ship, and I will arrange the deck chairs along the way. But I think the end is nigh. Unless there's a big, hey guys, we effed up. Let's change a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna get rid of the porn bots, and we're gonna make everything like stable again, and the API is better now. Like, I just don't see that happening, though.
I don't see it happening. He's like not the right guy heading the ship for that kind of reaction.
No,
maybe he gets bored of it and puts somebody in charge who is capable of that.
He has. Like,
right?
there's a CEO, but I think she's, I don't know if she's been given power. Like,
right, that's the thing. Like, he's there all the time, like obviously, like literally on the platform making proclamations.
And his
and stuff.
experience on the platform is so different than the average user, and that's what is causing all the problems.
And it's like he gets credit.
You've got 100 million followers, so yeah, your experience sucks. I believe that.
And it's like what he's done with like SpaceX. People always point to that, but I'm like, it's a whole sort of different thing. He's kind of had to be more hands off to begin with, and he can just come out and occasionally say something about a rocket, and he feels like that's great. But he's not like in the streets there making literal decisions. Not in the way.
Did you read the book? Did you read his biography?
Nah, I didn't read the biography.
Dude, you got to read the book.
Should I read it?
You should read it. It's so good.
Do it. Is it good?
I know. Hey, you came around on DHH. You're DHH's biggest fan now. So it could happen. It could happen for you. The book is extremely good. It makes him, it doesn't cover his faults, but it does make him more of a sympathetic character. You almost finish the book and you feel like bad for him.
But the book is kind of him totally losing his mind too, I think, isn't it? It's like 10 years old, isn't it?
It ends pretty close to him losing his mind. The Twitter acquisition is in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's newer than I thought. All right.
Yeah. It's very good.
I am always looking for reading material now that I do all this walking and stuff. It's I need audio material.
Morning guys, gotta bring it back to the morning.
You
gotta do it.
I have all this extra time.
When do you do this walking, Ian? Tell us. When do you take your walks? Oh,
I walk in the
morning. Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? So
that and
Twitter's
the 4
imploding.
kids. Twitter sucks. 4 kids are just like, it's a lot of kids, a lot of young kids.
They don't stop. It keeps going. It's like you think you get through that early phase, and it's like, oh, they're not tiny, and we're on to the next phase. But then there's just a phase and a phase, and it just keeps going.
It just keeps phases one after the other. Yeah,
one of our big things. Part of my existential crisis currently, and my wife's, is like, you start to get to this phase, like, okay, the kids are getting bigger. What do we want to do with ourselves? What do we want to do with ourselves in the future? Like, but then it's like you start to sort of think that way, but it's like the future's not actually here because like our youngest is still only 11, so like that's still a long time. I mean, it's going to go fast, but at the same time, it's still 7 years.
Still 7 years
to college or whatever. Like, so you can't just get all the way into like, okay, what are we doing? We're like we're kid free and we're on to the next thing. Like it's still a ways. So. Yeah, it's tricky. You got to find that balance. The 4 kids is hard. The new job's hard.
4 kids,
all that stuff.
Layoff, job / business that we have money, but I haven't taken any money out of it yet.
Oh.
New house.
Your real estate empire.
real estate empire, Twitter sucks, and I'm 35. So all of those things conspire. They all conspire together just to make, like, I'll be curious. Here's a question, Ian, as the elder statesman on the pod. What so far has been your toughest decade or sub-decade, 5 years?
I would definitely say 30s. 30s are clearly my toughest decade. Yeah, I think the 30s, like I had to help my like kind of dizziness, health stuff I've talked about before. That was like almost all of my 30s. So that was like, and then that was also when we're having kids and babies and businesses, you know, I started the business in my 20s, but late 20s, but it was like, you know, getting rolling in the 30s and like, yeah. The 30s
sucks.
I was happy to
30s are the
30s.
worst.
Yeah, I was very happy to exit the 30s. 40s have definitely been better than the 30s. Clearly,
that's the worst. So here's the problem. It's crunch time for everything.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's family crunch time. It's career crunch time. It's money crunch time. It's your health starts to like.
You start to realize
disappear.
you're human.
Yeah. It's
annoyingly.
The worst.
Yeah.
Who would ever want to be 30? Not me.
This is where I tell people. It's always. I mean, I simultaneously give my kids this advice and don't, because I see both sides of it. But like having children like in your early 20s just does have a lot of advantages.
I'm
like,
sure it does.
You
it
know, by the time
some
you're
of the
like
crunches.
42, you're like, oh, kids are out, and like kids are old when you're in your 30s instead of you're carrying kids in your 30s and all that stuff. It really is a huge difference. Obviously, it makes other things harder and starting your career and whatever. But you also have more energy, which goes a lot.
You got so much more energy.
Your 30s, you're already like getting a little iffy on the energy.
9 p.m. I'm so sleepy.
Yeah.
It's
like,
crazy.
Carrying things and heavy people and squirmy people.
So I just carry things.
Them waking up at night,
all the time.
Up at night and all that stuff. Like,
it's crazy.
There's a lot to that. Being on the ground, playing. Let's play. That means we got to get down on the ground and play with things on the ground.
I only have so many get down on the grounds left in these knees, you know?
Yeah, so that's it. You're halfway through. You're halfway through.
I'm halfway through. 5 years, and in 5 years I'll be rich, carefree, easygoing, and in perfect health. I just got to live through the 30s so I can make it to the glorious 40s.
I do think you have to be a little careful here coming up, I'd say, because the try hard phases can only last so long, you know, and it's like, like queuing up another course right behind this course. Like, okay, maybe you're going to get away with that, but I feel like you're going to have to like maybe spread it a little later after that, just to give yourself a little down period, or else it takes its own down period, whether you want to or not.
Right.
And then that's always a problem because you queued up
we might have to change to the Try Smart Studios instead of Try Hard Studios. Because we're old, we're now Try Smart Studios.
Yeah, we've converted. But
man, no, I think you're right. I do feel like this course is putting a lot of pressure. I don't think anyone is putting pressure on me. I think I'm putting pressure on myself. But it's like I feel a lot of pressure trying to get this thing done. But not only like we do have like duties and responsibilities to fulfill, but I want to make some money, man.
That's always nice.
That would be really great.
That's always nice when you make the money.
Would love to make some money. So just tired, you know, just real tired.
Yeah. I'm in a similar phase myself, I have to say, but you know, you got to persevere. You got to just take care of yourself. It's hard. Life throws
there's no
curveballs at
easy
you.
answers. Yeah.
I know.
It's crazy. You know, those things that are always like, hey, if you'd bought Apple in 1980, if you'd put a nickel in, you'd be a billionaire. Right. Are there any of those that we could get in on now? Like, how do you see those coming from far away? I would love to know that. Because in hindsight, everybody's like, oh, shoot, that's obvious. You should have bought Apple in the 80s. I'm like, well,
I know.
Come on. Give me it. Throw me a bone now.
And it's hard not to have regret on those things when you were like, I owned Apple 24 years ago or whatever, you know? It's like, oh, why didn't I hold my $7,000 out? I bought it for like $2 and sold it for $7. And I was like, I'm the king of the world. Yeah. This is the greatest. I'm printing money. Unbelievable. And now who knows? It'd probably be worth whatever, $2 million or whatever it'd be worth. And
whatever it'd be worth.
It's like, man, should have held on.
Yeah, I can't dwell on missing Bitcoin. So we got to move on. We got to move on to another topic. What's next on the board? So where do you want to go?
You posted on Twitter about you wanted recommendations for long form
Oh,
YouTube videos and lectures and
yeah.
things, and there was, I mean, you got tons of feedback. There's one
I
that
got
went over
tons.
your father account for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Um, so what are you up to is my first
No,
question,
no,
and
no. You know,
oh,
you
come
never reveal
on.
what I'm up
Come
to.
on, what are
I'm
you up
not up to
to? I thought
anything.
this was a
All
safe
right,
place.
this is a safe space. Nobody's listening. So here's what I'm up to. Looking to diversify my knowledge a little bit.
Okay.
Bought some new books. Bought some books
Mm,
on landscape design and gardening in Texas. Bought some books on internals of databases. So those will all arrive in one package, confusing whoever's packing that box for sure. So looked into those, and I also realized like I do a lot of like I wish there were more podcasts, first of all, which is
mm,
I'm the only person to have said that. I wish there
right.
were more podcasts.
I kind
But
of
I
agree.
started to think like I want some of these like those YouTube videos that you come across every now and then, and it's like a fixed camera from 40 feet away on some guy, and like you can barely make it out, but the stuff he's saying is just like, holy crap, that just
Yeah.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's got that video
Everybody's got a
somewhere.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got their like secret, oh yeah, of course you got to see this. It's got 8
Right.
views and I'm 7 of them. And you're like, why didn't you tell anyone about this? And so I put that prompt out there for the people, and I was like, hey, I want your secret videos, basically.
Right.
And so it was either Saturday or Sunday. I was trying to clean up the garage again, to get everything in order, and I put one of these videos on, like one of these lectures, and just listened to it. And it was
Mm.
awesome. It was so
Ah.
great. It was like in place of a podcast. It was
It's good. Yeah,
one
placing a
was
podcast.
I think Stefan Zweifel sent me one about
Mm.
writing from like University of Chicago, and it was incredibly good. And then
Hmm.
somebody else sent one about, I don't know, some woo woo spirituality thing, and it was like pretty good.
Mm.
And so yeah, I'm gonna make a YouTube playlist out of all of these, so that I can like combine them all and share with the people like, hey, here's the final result set. And then I'm gonna start working through them, with the
Ah,
goal of like,
interesting.
yeah, with the goal of not like basically just kind of background information processing. Like I just want to learn new stuff, but I want to do it when I would otherwise be wasting time. And I think part of this comes from maybe my Twitter blues over the weekend. I was like, I got to do something else. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I need a different outlet. So
Just popping
that's the
into
grand
Twitter when you're
plan.
bored isn't
Yeah.
optimal necessarily. Yeah. I like that. You're gonna make a playlist of the ones you find best or whatever.
Yeah,
That would
so
be
I
cool.
think I will actually I think I'll make a playlist of all of the ones that were recommended, and as I watch them I'll move them to a playlist of ones that I've watched.
Mm.
And I think I will like pull it down and put it on my personal site, and so I'll have all the ones that I've watched and like my thoughts on it and stuff like that,
Oh
because I
wow.
think it would be a fun repository for people to look at, I think.
Yeah. I like that idea. I agree. I've been in so I go through the podcast phases of like I'm overwhelmed. I'm subscribed to too many. I can't even get through them
Mhm.
because I don't listen to them. And then, like now with my morning walks,
Mhm.
I have lots of time, and I'm like, oh shit, I just listened to that podcast. Now I don't have another one of these for a week. I'm all through
I
all the other
know.
ones. I got nothing to
I've
listen
seen you
to.
tweet at Daniel Colborn and Jordan Gall in the past week,
Yes,
like about their
yeah.
podcasts.
Give
Yeah.
me some stuff. Yes. So yeah, so well, I do also similar. I haven't done the YouTube angle though. Like so I usually have audiobooks or different things like that that I
Mhm.
fill in the
Mhm.
gaps with. But the YouTube lecture is kind of interesting idea too, because it's like something that's done and then you learned it or you were entertained or whatever. Versus like the podcast does have like that ongoing element,
Yeah.
which is good, but also sometimes it's like it's like this never ending thing where it's like, oh yeah, I heard this lecture and it was cool, and now I know something I didn't know
Yep.
before, and that's it. Bite sized kind of thing. I never use the YouTube music app. Does it
No
integrate
idea.
things
Never
like
used it.
that? Yeah, I was
No
wondering if it
clue.
like does something like that.
I
Hmm.
do have YouTube Premium, so you can put the video on and then
Right.
lock it, and the the audio of the video will keep playing. So
Uh
that's how I do it.
Lock it. What's that? What's
Yeah.
lock it mean?
Lock your
I
phone.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because
Yeah,
you can,
yeah. I do have
you can
YouTube
like turn it
Premium
on,
too.
lock it, put it in your pocket, go about your business, and the audio will keep playing, which is awesome.
Yeah, I do love that. I didn't realize that was a premium only feature.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think
I do.
I think that's actually what kicked me over the edge to go premium. Was I wanted to like listen. This was a long time ago. I wanted to listen to stuff on YouTube. I kept having to leave my phone on like an idiot, and so I just finally paid for it.
So I've switched to the Arc browser, and this
No.
is related to this. And I actually really like it. But one of the best thing about it is that it's got a good implementation of the multiple like profiles and like
Okay.
workspaces. I don't forget what they called them. Basically, I have like a work section of tabs and profile and like a not work, right? And so every once in a while now, so basically on my personal, I'm logged into like, actually it's kind of weird, it's reversed. But anyway, my business YouTube, my business email account is like my real YouTube that I pay for and I subscribe to stuff personally and whatever. But sometimes I end up on YouTube in my personal tab.
Oof.
Like whatever, I open a link or whatever, and then there's ads, and the ads are, I was like, I can't believe
How do you
99%
people live
of the
like
people
this?
are living like this. It's the worst. It's unbearable. It's terrible.
Unbearable. It's unbearable. Somebody
and you can't
commented.
even skip them now. It's like there's 2 or 3 of them, and it's like, no,
Yep.
you gotta wait the 30 seconds. I'm like, this is horrible.
Horrible. Somebody commented on one of my SQLite interviews and said the ads were unbearable, and I replied with like, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. What am I supposed to do? That's not my fault.
You can't control that one. Like, buy premium.
Yeah. Buy premium. I know that it's like whatever, $16 a month to watch YouTube, which is crazy, but the ads, it's so frustrating.
Can we just go back to this for 1 second? Elon,
yeah, let's go.
Obviously literally lies every time he talks, but like the one Elon lies every time he talks. It's really unbearable. But and I never mute anybody, but I actually had to mute or block Elon or whatever.
I think I muted Elon too
because I just couldn't take it anymore. But what he lied to us about that's bothering me most is that we're going to pay for it and then we're not going to have to watch ads. But now I pay for it and I still get ads. It's very infuriating. And I get the same stupid ad every time. I got to see Sam Parr for the millionth time tell me that being an entrepreneur is lonely and join the Hamilton Club. Like, I don't want to join the Hamilton Club. Like, just
it's called
Hamptons. I don't want to join the Hamptons Club. I don't want to join any of it.
Join
Please
the
stop
Hamilton
advertising
Club.
to me. It's the only ad I get, and I'm sick of it.
That's amazing.
Please stop.
I do use an ad blocker on, and I only use Twitter on the desktop. I use Twitter on the web, so I don't really care that much. The Hamilton
I use
Club.
an ad blocker, but why? Maybe I don't see them on. Maybe I don't see them. Yeah, I'm only seeing them mobile, I guess. Yeah.
Mobile, yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, let's move on to give us the update. So how many videos you claimed last week, an outrageous claim that you were going to hit 50 videos or something like that.
Not even close. Didn't even get close.
I didn't
think
that would be possible.
No.
Seems impossible.
I think I'm proud of how many I did, and I think I did probably 25 maybe.
Well, that's a very nice chunk of change right there.
Half of what I wanted, but it's a lot of videos. So I feel good about that. I feel like the vibes are right. The momentum is there. I'm into the easier section for me because it's the section about like just basically SQL.
Right, like
we're doing indexes and then we do then we're gonna do like CTEs and window functions and stuff like that. And that part is just like, man, it's pretty easy for me. So the pace is increasing, I would say. Yeah, lots of mental turmoil around that too. It's like I can't start until I'm like in the zone, but I just have it could be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock before I start recording. And then of course I feel like, wow, I just wasted the whole day, just wallowing in self-doubt. And now I got to record 1 million videos before I go home. And so it's it's a lot. But we're getting there. And this is the first one. This is the first course I've done full-time solo, like not with a W-2 backstop. And I think that's adding a little bit of pressure as well. Yeah. But it's good. I've seen some of the edits Steve has done, and it's the best. Like it's the best work I've ever done. And so it's just a matter of like doing it, I think, is the hard part.
Yeah. It always comes down to, which is funny because this was my other question I had on the docket, which was like about organizing your time and like I was thinking about like to get through these times where you like have a blocker, but it sounds like you're still working on that yourself. We're in the same spot there too, of like,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to break things down maybe into smaller chunks. And sometimes people put things on their calendar, like just like I'm going to work on this thing, just for yourself, like not an actual appointment. I don't know if you have any tricks you're using there, but it sounds like
so
maybe
far, the one thing that I have discovered, which I think is interesting, is if I start like this past week, one morning I was having trouble starting like working on the course, and so I recorded a separate YouTube video just about who knows what, about Laravel or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that I felt like, yes, I can do this. Let's get started. Another morning I did like a 2-hour live stream that was so fun, and then after that I was like, great, let's get started. And so I think because otherwise I sit here in the mornings and just think, oh shoot, you got to start, man, and then it just builds up and up and up and up, and then finally it like, the wave crests over me and I'm like, I gotta start, otherwise I'm gonna lose my house. So yeah, there's some of like, what's the on-ramp for the day, and I think weirdly Steve said that this is insane, like making a video is a great way to warm up to make other videos.
That's interesting.
And yeah, so I think that's helpful. I think in the future I'm gonna try to structure my day more like I come in and I do a live stream and then do that for an hour and a half, and then do other stuff after that, because I really enjoy live streaming when I'm not on Twitch. I don't like Twitch. I don't like the culture of Twitch. So that's kind of the things I've discovered so far. But yeah, it's 90% mental for sure.
There is, two things there. One is there definitely is. I've been trying to do that more of like, can I break something down into like a ridiculously small part? Because it's like, if you could just get that little small part done, then it's like, oh yeah, I did the small part, and like I could do the next small part, as opposed to like like in the software stuff, everything's big, basically, or it feels big. It's like, well, build this huge new feature that touches a bunch of stuff. Or like, we're working on the new website, not a fully new website, but like updating the HubSpot website with some stuff, and it's like kind of it's not the full rebuild, but it's still a big project. There's just stuff that has to be written. That always is like a blocker for me, is like writing stuff. So like, yeah, can we break it down? It's like, well, I'll just write the outline for this page, and like, okay, then you can get going in there. I've also had like a lot of distractions with like people graduating and all this stuff, so personally I felt a little disconnected more so than normal. But yeah, something like that. I noticed you did the streaming. Like, so what's up with the? I don't think I've ever seen you do a stream before. I know you have streamed before, but like,
I streamed a little bit new. A long time ago. When I was first getting into video work, I did some streaming. And I think like the culture of Twitch kind of put me off of streaming, because it's very loud and energetic and a little bit skewed towards gamers, and there's lots of like secret like shibboleths that I don't know. So people will put stuff in chat and I'm like, I gotta be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then there's the whole like somebody subscribes and you got to shout them out and be like, oh wow, thanks for the $3. That's crazy, thanks for the $3 I'm gonna get out of that, like this is changing my life, I can't believe it. And I'm just like, that's just not me, that's not my vibe. I'm not like the off the wall kind of guy. And so and it was just a lot of work. Streaming was a lot of work, and it yielded very little return, and I felt a little bit disingenuous the whole time,
a little dirty. And so I put it down, and then I was like, wait, I've seen some people starting to stream video on Twitter, and I thought that's a lot more my speed. And so I did. I hooked up I think it's Restream now, so I'm on Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn hysterically. Yeah, might as well. We gotta get over there.
I know.
Somehow, some way.
And so I did that, and it was just a lot more fun. It's just I really enjoy it. So yeah, I like streaming. I like the live aspect. I like the pressure. I do enjoy like the entertainment aspect of it, but I can't put myself into that Twitch mold very well.
Well, you gotta be. I think Twitch, you gotta be over there throwing punches or being in a bikini, or like you have to have. You need some of that. There's the juice required that people want to see over there, or at least that's the perception I have.
Yes.
So Yeah, I think I like this LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube
Yeah, it feels a
zone probably
little,
for
and
you.
this is not meant to be. It's not meant to be pejorative. It feels a little more grown up, right? It
Well,
feels a
yeah, I
little
think
more
that's
like,
fair.
yeah, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm not gonna come over on Twitch and make dick jokes all day. It's like that's just not what I want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I
Uh,
just don't want to do that.
your stream didn't work for me though. I tried to tune in, then it didn't
I
work.
know.
Then I missed it. Then I didn't catch it.
I
But
know. So I don't know. So here's the problem. I don't know if that is a restream issue or if that
yeah,
is a Twitter issue
this is
because it
always the
worked great
scary
on
part about
YouTube.
that. Yeah, it's like when you use these services that are now
I
in
know.
between. Like if you were just on YouTube, it would work, right? You'd know it
Right.
was working. But now
The
it's
day
like, well,
before
I
I
got all
just
these
went
things.
directly to Twitter and it was fine.
Right. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything. They may have put some more servers in a truck somewhere, and they're like, we don't need these servers anymore. And so Twitter, it could be Twitter day to day. I just have no idea. So
yeah.
I'll try restream again, and if the stream still sucks, then I may just drop that out and try to multi-stream myself.
Yeah. I think people do like the streaming. I know, like Brandon Sanderson, who I follow fairly
Mm-hmm.
closely. That was my recommendation to you
It
on your
was.
YouTube long forms. But he's built up his social media following a ton, and a big part of it has been he does live streams. And with somebody like that, I
What is he
mean,
live stream?
so it's very interesting. So like, I don't know, like for people like us who are already putting themselves out there, maybe it's not as effective. Well, maybe it is because like he's an author and he goes away and he writes a book and he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the past, it's like how do you even talk? His thing with it was in the past, how you talk to authors was you'd go to conferences or these book fairs or whatever, and he would
Right.
be there and he'd be on a panel and he'd answer questions and interact with the fans, right? And then basically, like COVID happened and he just couldn't do that anymore. And then also he just got kind of so big that it's not really practical for him to like go and like he's the book signing where somebody maybe in the past could say a couple words to him, like there's 10,000 people that want to sign a book
Right.
and he can only sign 2,000 in a day, and that's if he does it for 8 hours straight or whatever. And so like it just becomes impractical. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna live stream. So yeah, he's got like a little setup. He's got some people helping him, obviously, and he like answers questions from people. He takes questions over the stream and answers them. He does some other stuff too, but those are the ones I think that really popped off initially. It's like, oh yeah, we can interact with Sanderson, and like also obviously you're getting a lot of the same questions. Now I can answer them all at once. He has.
So is it mostly QA? It's not like watching him work or
No, you don't watch
do
him
anything?
work. What he does, he kind of multitasks. Like, so he sells a lot of signed books that he publishes himself, like leather-bound books that are more expensive than the one you get in the bookstore. And so, like, how that works, because his scale is he signs the printer will print this big section of pages. It's like 16 pages that they end up slicing, but it's before they slice it and it's folded together. And he signs a huge pile of those, and he has to sign like 50,000 of them. So he's signing those, which he has to sit there and sign anyway. So while he's sitting there and signing those, he boots up the stream and he's like taking questions, and he has somebody else there he's kind of like hanging out with, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's very fascinating, and to see him grow his following and everything like that. And obviously become this big thing where, because now he has this direct connection, which most authors don't have.
Right.
He launched the biggest Kickstarter in history for like $45 million he got on it or whatever from his leather-bound book, the last big leather-bound book he did. Yeah, so in the whole publishing industry was kind of shook by this.
$45 million?
Yeah, so he has a warehouse. He has like a whole company. He's not like most authors are just the author and they outsource everything to the publisher. But he's now his own little empire here. And yeah,
I should write a book. I could make $45 million.
I don't know. Maybe I think Kickstarter would kind of be interesting for you for one of your courses potentially. Like you've had these backers from companies, but you could maybe come up with one where the people back you or whatever.
For sure.
Like
we will absolutely do that.
Yeah,
something totally esoteric where no company is going to pay for it, but people would enjoy it. Yes.
I think you could come up with something like that. But anyway, so yeah, so you should watch some of he does other things now. He does a podcast, videos like we do. So he does do other stuff, but that is never about like the books. Like the book streams are like spoiler streams where he'll answer your spoiler questions on other books, and some of them are not spoiler streams and whatever.
I need to study him because I think I'm I find more inspiration and value from content creators outside of the tech sphere.
Same.
Like I feel like people in the tech sphere are just kind of like copying each other, and everybody's trying to be the same. But then you know, you go to Brandon Sanderson, he's doing something interesting. The Perkins Builder Brothers, this YouTube channel that I follow, they don't follow any of the YouTube like lore or strategy, and they've
Rules,
almost got
right?
1 million subscribers just by like
Yeah.
being likable and building houses. And I just find that so much more interesting. So I'm trying to study far and wide instead of just like, how can I copy, you know,
The
this?
Primogen.
Yeah, exactly. How can I copy the Primogen? How can I be a worse version of him? Like,
Right.
I don't think that's a good strategy.
Well, there's a couple of fascinating things. At first, I just always love studying other people's businesses, and Sanderson shares a lot of the business aspect. And it's like, it's weird because every other author is like, the business aspect is just we sign a contract with a publisher and we never think about business ever again. Whereas he like runs a whole company and he has a strategy, and he's like, so I always geek out just on business stuff outside of, again, like tech, like even if it's a restaurant or whatever. Like, okay, so that's just interesting. But then it also, like along what you're saying, it's interesting to see him take something that is like a more of a techie thing and apply it to a different industry. It's like in the old days, it's like you would travel to Japan and find some cool shit in Japan, and just all you did is bring it back over here. Like, you didn't invent it, you didn't do it, but you figured out that people over here where I am don't know about this thing from over there, and you bring it over, and now everybody loves your new type of food or whatever because you introduced them to it. And it's like that same kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, authors aren't doing big streams and trying to build up big social media audiences necessarily and stuff. And so he did that, and it's like, wow, that's really cool. I mean, he has a huge advantage. He was already one of the best-selling authors, so not exactly starting from nothing doing it, but still, he's like applying these different techniques. Yeah.
So here's something that I will do once the course is over that is totally outside of you know, tech content creators. I think it's going to be a 1 hour show on Fridays, like a variety hour. It's going to be, we're going to do a live show from here, from the studio.
Okay.
I've got a couple of different, bits or segments that I'm going to do.
I love segments. I wish we had
a segment.
Yeah.
The segments are going to have names. They're going to have graphic teasers at the beginning, so we can just like, we can go into business time, and it's going to be, you know, Flight of the Conchords singing business time or whatever. I can believe it's not Diet Coke. We're going to have a whole segment on that. I'm just like, I'm going to do a variety show, and I'm looking at like, I'm watching a lot of old Conan episodes, and they're just so good. Old Stephen Colbert episodes, stuff like that, and trying to think, what are the different bits or segments that I could, and how could I produce a live show on different, on different sets here in the apartment all by myself?
Yeah, now we're talking. We got the other room out there, so
we got the other room. Nobody sees the other room. We got to go out in the other room.
You could turn the camera around, have something on the other side. You could definitely, you would think, get 3-4 locations in there if you plan it out.
So I got that capture card. I got a 4K capture card that has 4 inputs, so I can run 4 HDMIs into this capture card, and then it connects over Thunderbolt. And so I'm going to set up, a couple different cameras. I have portable, like lavalier mics, so I'll wear a mic, walking around the studio. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be
people come over to randomly have somebody show up and actually appear live or whatever.
Yes,
I like this idea.
If I can just get through this course, then I'll start to do some of that other fun stuff.
So this is a whole other issue though. It's like I have this problem too, where I always have a bunch of other ideas.
Yes.
And then you start them, finish them, or you actually go down the path, but it's actually distracting you from what you should be working on. And there is a fine line there of how many ideas you can have, when to allow yourself to be distracted. It's so hard, especially when all of it's doable in a sense. That almost even makes it worse.
It's all doable. It is. Yeah, this is it's interesting. This is the small bets single idea debate,
right?
Made flesh, because but the good thing is the good thing is for me, one, I like to do many different things, and 2, I think that is viable with our business model. Because let's say that my small bets are a SQLite course, a Postgres course, a screencasting course, a YouTube channel. Those are all my small bets. they all roll up into one business model. Like they all roll up
Right.
into one big bet, which is Aaron makes content. That is the bet. And so
Yeah.
I can talk out of both sides of my mouth depending on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to Matt Winsing, I can say, no, it's just one big bet. If I'm
Right.
talking to Daniel Vassallo, I can say, no, it's just a bunch of small bets. And I can just make everybody happy. I can just ride that fence all the way.
Yeah, I would bring it up a little differently for you, but I think there's the media empire Aaron Francis,
Love
right?
an empire. Yes.
Yeah, love an empire, and like a variety show and a podcast and YouTube
Mm-hmm,
videos, and these are all part of the media empire of like you just have to be out there with some regularity in presumably in ideally different ways. I think really
Ideally,
like that's not always true, but I think in the case of the internet and how things work on the internet, like it wasn't true of David Letterman necessarily, but I think it probably is true of you that you need to be in different formats and different structures and on all that stuff. And so that's like the media empire part. With adding more stuff there is just your job. And then there's like how you monetize that is where are you going to do a bunch of bets or a few bets or whatever?
Interesting.
Do you have a whole bunch of courses, or do you have someday want to do a SaaS and try to go more all in on one thing or whatever, or find some other models there for the financial bets or more that part of it. You're building the platform that lets you then make the bets essentially.
Right. So you're saying I'm building the mini small bets is the top of funnel, and I got to figure out what the monetization is: small, mini small, or one big.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like just anything media related is your baseline sort of. It's all part of the one bet. Like build the media empire is like the big bet. Yeah. And then from that, how you monetize that might take different forms of small bets or whatever. You're starting with the courses, and that's like we're gonna see how that goes, and then go from there. You might get 2 years in and be like, yeah, the courses paid the bills, but we have to make all these courses all the time, which is its own thing.
But I'm almost 40 and I'm not rich yet, so we got to figure out a different strategy.
Or like, I mean, with me, the standard media empire path, right, would be like somebody else makes the courses. Like you are the face of the media empire.
Dream,
and then you are producing courses where somebody else is the face of them, and then they're being sold through your media empire.
Right.
It's the more scalable version probably of what you're doing rather than you always being the face potentially. Well, it depends how successful they are. If they sell $1 million each course, then who cares? Whatever. You do a course a year and you're good, and you do a couple other little things,
home a cool
and great.
$500K a year. Yeah, I'm not mad,
you're doing all right. Like
that.
It's not terrible. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I think you're correct. Right now, I do provide both the distribution and the material. And I do think both are valuable, but I think the distribution can be more valuable to people who have more money and no distribution.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And it's like, I don't know. That was again, this is where Twitter gave me something good, and it's so annoying.
See, you can't quit it. It keeps you coming back.
I retweeted this, but the Justin Kahn guy, who I think was the Justin TV guy or whatever back in the day, right? Like he posted up a meme. I don't know if he created it.
By the way, we got called out. I got called out for not correcting you on meme versus meme. Just
my
just
kids
for the record.
Too. They're like, my daughter's like, it's a meme. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
So, all right.
It's a memo. He posted a memo, and it's the guy. It's the girlfriend. The guy's walking. He looks back at the other girl walking past, like that super famous one, and it's like second time founders is the guy. And it's like the first product is his girlfriend, or no, what is it? The first product is
this is going great so far. Yeah,
it's going great.
Power through. Don't look it up. Don't look it up.
No, I gotta look. I gotta look where I put it. No, I've already lost it.
I was enjoying not knowing what this meme is.
Where did I put it? I put it somewhere to have it.
Did you retweet it? Go there. Go to your profile.
I did retweet it. I want to get this right because it was so good. It was like
I'm
so
enjoying you
on.
making up a meme in
let's
hindsight.
Go to my profile. There's no better radio than this. Let's see.
Yeah, we're both looking stuff up on the internet. Distracted boyfriend meme. There we go. Okay, second time founder. I got it. Okay, you got it. You go.
Exactly. So the girl, the original girlfriend is product. The guy is second time founder, and he's looking back at distribution.
Distribution.
That's what you learn. That is so what you learn. It's like, yeah, the product is the fun. You want to build the product. It's going to be so great. But But then you realize, oh, it doesn't matter. If you have distribution, you can sell anything to anybody. It's so powerful to have that.
Yep.
I don't even have that. Like, I don't really have it in the way of like I would like it. So like,
Right.
you can never have too much distribution. You want
Never
more
have too much distribution. Yeah.
always. And so yes, so you're totally spot on there. I think we're spot on, right? That like you building a distribution empire is valuable in and of itself,
Yes.
and what you pump through the distribution empire might change, or it might not always be you or whatever, because you can imagine you have 5 people building courses.
I can imagine that. Yes, easily. Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept that I'm learning now that I've done it, that maybe the easiest or maybe only way to bootstrap a distribution empire is to provide the material yourself for the first while.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that you can get a distribution empire from the get-go by just like grabbing a bunch of people and telling them what to do. That seems pretty hard to me.
You definitely can. But
tell me,
that doesn't mean it's the best way for you to go about it. But I
That's
mean, this is how tons of like CBS, right? Like they hire people to do stuff and like whatever. Like
That's
they
true.
made a deal for airwaves. Like it's all they're businessing it, the whole thing of it.
They're
right?
doing the
With
whole
money.
business thing.
They're cutting out a bunch of the we know how to do stuff by using money to buy airwave time and buy people to produce things and whatever. But
money's
for
crazy,
the bootstrap,
but in the Brave New World,
us level type of thing, yes, I think like you got to kind of kickstart it yourself, and obviously you need to kickstart the money train to make sure
gotta
you
kickstart the money train.
have the money to then, because all those other things are going to take more time, right? Like you could just get in there and power through making a course, but if you're going to hire somebody else to make a course, like you got to find that person,
right?
The first person you hire is going to suck. You're going to have to fire them. Then you're going to have to find another person, and like whatever, all that stuff that's going to happen when you start not doing stuff.
I feel like this
yourself.
is maybe what Kent C. Dodds has done. Like he bootstrapped himself into a distribution empire, and now he's got the Epic Web stuff. And I feel like he's bringing people in to do courses under the Epic Web umbrella. And so he still produces a lot of material, but he's not the only one that does it. But does Wes Boss do this, or does he still produce all his own material?
I think Wes actually does all his own stuff. I don't recall seeing him do other stuff. But there's also like other things, right? There's like, if you end up maybe in all this, you get an idea for an app, right? Or maybe it's a mobile app, or maybe it's a SaaS app or whatever. And now it's just like, as long as it works reasonable with your audience, you don't have to build it. Who cares? Nobody's the face of that. Like,
that's right.
You pay people to go build the app, and then the app shows up, and then you're the face of it by being the one selling it. So there's other models in there too.
We need to sell this podcast to Sentry like Wes Boss did.
Did he sell his podcast to Sentry?
Yes, the whatever show that he and Scott Talinsky do. It's owned by Sentry. Syntax. Yeah,
wow.
Sentry owns it now. And freaking My First Million sold their podcast to HubSpot, and now they just like dork around all day.
But the people are still on the show, right?
They're still on the show. Yeah, they just get paid to do it.
I wonder how long they've committed. Obviously, they're not.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to do this forever, right? Like, there's some.
Right. Yeah. So
if anybody out there would like to buy the podcast,
if you're listening and you want to buy the podcast for a lot of money,
sure,
we would sell it to you. That'd be awesome.
We're not above that. We're happy to sell the
podcast. No, definitely
We're also happy to have advertisers. So if you want to just advertise on the podcast without coming up with enough money to buy the podcast,
that would be great
too.
That
as well.
Yeah, contact us.
Yeah, contact us. But anyway, Sentry. Yeah, Sentry. Well, Sentry's got a deal with Laravel now.
I saw that.
They're out there spending some money.
I know. Splashy cashy in the PHP world.
And what are they doing? Distribution, right?
Buying distribution.
Deal with Laravel, buy a podcast, because why not? Like buying distribution. That's what they're doing. Especially in this new world where people are getting scared about search engines. Like,
yeah, totally.
And if that's not going to be a go-to where, I can muscle my way into some SEO, it's like, how do I have people find out about my product? Like, it's not because the search engine is, even if you're like, well, I'll just advertise, like search engines are where people do that too. So there's like not a lot of great options if the search engines take a big nosedive to any. I don't personally think they're going to like go away, but if they get hurt by this, or people just expect more direct answers that are AI-ish and they don't want the list of links and the huge list of ad links and all that stuff, I don't know. It's going to be tricky. Where do you find that? So Maybe our
Hopefully,
podcast is increasing in value.
I'm on the right track building distribution, because I think
Yes.
it is becoming harder and harder to come by. So hopefully, it will become more valuable.
Presumably so.
Presumably,
But that's being on across all these platforms too. It's like if all your followers are on Twitter, that's not good for you, right?
Not good.
You need to be spread out and have options in the future. So
that's what I'm going for. Optionality.
Yep.
And if you're listening and you're like, you should do one big bet, I am. And if you're listening and you think you should do a bunch of small bets, I am. So yeah, just don't be mad at me.
Yeah, you're kind of doing both. You're kind of doing both.
I'm doing both. Should we wrap on HVAC feedback?
Yeah, give us some HVAC feedback.
HVAC feedback is I am sorely disappointed in our extrememely intelligent listeners, because they all told me that I'm wrong. So really what's going on with that?
You kind of got crushed there. It's I almost felt bad at one point.
Crushed. I got absolutely destroyed. Not a single person took my side.
Nobody was like, we want 400 extra batteries and
nobody
50
was
Internet
like,
of Things devices.
The funny thing was, everybody was like, I got it. I'm actually on Ian's side this time. And I'm like, okay, so I had you all this time, and now because of the HVAC, you're gonna side with Ian?
Bring it in my side, baby. Bring it in my side.
The CEO episode, by the way, flawless, great.
That was good.
But just the feedback that I'm wrong and you're right, it's just resounding, like beyond a shadow of a doubt. No reasonable person could look at the feedback and be like, well, it kind of went 50-50 there. Not even close.
No, there was like pretty much nobody on your side. I mean, there was a few people who were like, we got the equivalent thing you're talking about, but it's got a fan in it or whatever.
Yeah,
like, There's a few
just
people who talked about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was like in one room we did one of these, and it like sort of helped. And that was it. Like nobody else had anything positive to say about this. So.
Everybody was like, fix your ducts. Why don't you just close some of the vents? Or like... The battery thing kept coming up again. I'm like, what am I?
Man. So what did you do? Did the HVAC guy come? I thought the HVAC guy was coming in. Him coming anyway.
What do you think I did? I called an HVAC company and they never called me back. What? This is what I'm saying. What do you want me to do? I called Patriot HVAC, which is
Patriot.
Like, hell yeah.
What a Texas name.
So America, freaking, that's awesome. I bet they have an American flag like on their truck. Like, we back the blue or something. Didn't call me back. Nobody showed up. What am I supposed to do? I got to buy a bunch of vents. That's the only thing I have left is buying a bunch of vents.
There's no other HVAC company.
There's no other. It's only Patriot. What am I supposed to do? Call somebody
else? They run everything.
No way. They run everything. Land of the free.
Goodness.
So, no, I haven't done anything yet. Jennifer, my wife, listened to it and was like, are we buying a bunch of vents? I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's gonna work.
Are you losing it?
It's gonna work.
Oh man!
I will say she walked into our bedroom last night and said, it is noticeably warmer in this room. And I was like, yes, that's what I'm saying. And the only way to fix it.
That.
Yeah.
Nobody's doubting that. What about a fan? What about just a nice fan?
We have a nice fan.
Little fan action on.
We have a little fan. We have an overhead fan.
Doesn't do enough.
Doesn't do enough. It moves the warm air around.
You're a cool air man.
I'm a cool air man. Love to be cold. Nothing's better than being cold at night.
I thought the bed makes you cool. What happened to the bed?
The bed makes me cool. I still have the chili pad, but I need the atmosphere to be cool,
Okay. All right.
Very specific.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I think we'll
that's
leave it
a big L. That's a big L for old Aaron there. That's too bad.
I am excited for you to follow up with that. You got to call another HVAC company. Just get them in there.
I know.
Or try the fan blower thing. Maybe the blower thing that people are talking about that'll just help suction a little more from the other parts of the system, whatever.
I just want it. That's what it comes down to.
I just love a good gadget, right? I just want a gadget. It's a cool gadget. I just want to buy it. It's a cool
gadget. I just want it.
We know the CEO now. It's a friend of ours.
The CEO's a friend of mine. Yeah. Dan.
You should do it. You should buy all the stuff. You know what? There's nobody who has an extra $5,000 than you. You just go out there, buy all these little gadgets, just blow the money. You're just spending $1 billion on a new house and $1 zillion more upgrading the house. You know what? What's another $5 $5,000 compared to all the money you've spent is nothing.
Compared to all the money I've spent,
rounding error.
yeah,
So
nothing.
it's just part of the new house build. It's not
exactly.
Yeah, it's not new money. It's old spent
Right. It's
money.
not coming out of like household budget. It's coming out of remodel budget, which is just on a different planet.
Yes,
just
you already
completely
spent
different.
that money. That money's spent in your head. You've already spent the remodel money.
Exactly.
So this is just in there with that. I can be down with that.
There's a 95% chance I'm gonna buy some of these vents. Just
I mean, you kind of have
go
to
on the
at this
record.
point,
Yeah,
just to try it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. So now this is a whole other question that came up.
Tell me.
So it came out in our interview, and then people talked about it a bit more about how they never close more than a third of the vents so that you don't have too much back pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but how does it know? Like, he's also saying you don't need to replace every vent in your house.
Right.
So how does it know what a third of the vents are? Like,
you tell it in the app.
You think you tell it how many vents you have total, but your thing's only running 3 of these vents, but there's 20 vents.
Yep.
So then it just never worries about it after that.
Correct.
Presumably.
Yep.
Okay.
Easy solution. Wow.
It's a lot of work.
That was easy.
If that's true, well, you don't know
that
that's
is true.
You think that's true.
That is totally true. Yes, I read the FAQ and it said you input how many vents you have, smart and non-smart, and then it calculates off of that. Yeah.
I'd like you to count the number of vents you have because I'm just curious about that number.
I think I could do that right now. How many do you think
hiding?
They're not hiding. You know how many times I've looked at these vents? If they were hiding
in every little closet and everywhere.
Yes. If they were hiding, I have found them.
20.
Okay, let's do it. Master bedroom 1, master bathroom 1. So that's 2. Kids room 3, dining room 4, kids play corner 5. Kitchen living has 2, 3 in the kitchen living. That is 8 downstairs.
All right.
That's it.
No, what about the upstairs?
I haven't counted the upstairs because I'm not doing the upstairs right now.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying in the whole house. I'm saying 20 in the whole house. I wasn't thinking on first floor only.
Probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 upstairs.
You think only
so
5?
Either 12 or 13. Yeah. It's not that many.
Well, that's only 30 batteries. That's not too bad, I guess.
Okay, yeah, here we go with the batteries. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna at least put some smart
buy
ones.
1 or 2. Try it out.
I'm at least, I think, probably gonna do maybe 3 or 4. Maybe I'll do like the living area so that to get the bonus airflow to the back 2 rooms, it can turn those off.
Could you just test drive this by blocking those 3 vents and before you buy anything and install it? Like just block those vents. Like put a big blanket over it or something, and close the vent as much as you can.
Close the vent.
I mean, close it. Yeah. Those things, I don't know. I know people say don't fully close. I know they don't always really fully close the way these fancy ones do.
It's good enough for a test.
But I think it's probably good enough for a test. You can put some shit on top of it if you want to extra.
Yeah.
And then see how that works.
Okay, I could do that.
Let's do that. All right, that's your homework.
That's just so easy.
Yeah.
That's just bad. That's just bad content. Like, oh, I tried it and it worked.
Yeah, that's true.
No, skip that part. Buy all the stuff and then just risk it.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. It's only good content to me if you replace all of them. Because if you just replace 2, we don't even know. I don't know.
Well, I could come back here and say it worked. That would be okay.
But then you didn't need a smart one, right? Then you could just close the vents.
But we don't need to do it all again. I'll buy some and report back.
There you go. Sounds good. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. MostlyTechnical.com, Mostly Tech Pod for Twitter as long as it lasts, and mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us.
We've gotten some really nice emails recently.
We've gotten very, very nice emails. Some very nice
please
authors.
Send us more.
Yeah. So anyway, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Later.
See ya.